Shot.
Okay. Yay. Here we go.
Here we
Welcome,
are.
everybody. Today we have Olivia Isiana. I'm so happy to talk to you here. Why don't we do a quick introduction on who you are and what you do?
Hello, Nate, and hello to all of you who are joining us today. Um, so where do I start? Let me tell you, I have always been struggling with introductions, and that was like the most difficult part of the
Yeah, I
book
don't want to
when
put
I
you on the
started
spot
writing.
for it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I will do my best. About 5 years ago, I have experienced the awakening of my eternal ancient eyes. Some would refer to it as the third eye, but it's more or less like a certain ability to tap into my eternal spirit, to experience other simultaneous multidimensional realities.
Mhm.
And these certain experiences that I've had pretty much ever since I was a teenager led me to the point where I started to go into like different types of explorations. One of them is basically healing and how to basically become your own healer. This is what I'm teaching on my individual sessions and also on the
Mm,
group classes that I'm doing. And that also led me to a lot of interesting discoveries about the history. Of
right.
course, that history that you will
So
not learn
interesting.
about at school.
Yeah, you will not learn about this at school. Yeah. That's so wonderful. That's so wonderful. I also think that like part of my goal in recording this together is that it might inspire and teach other people to not only remember their dream experiences when their physical body's asleep, but also that it's a functional tool to be able to remember this stuff. Because what we're going to talk about is not anything that we made up. It is literally something that is internally confirmable if you have a meditation practice or a dream experience or something like that, you know. So, but yeah, we're going to go through human history together. And you have a wonderful presentation prepared with some cool pictures to kind of break down not only thousands of years in the past or hundreds of, but literally billions of years in the
Brilliance.
past. If we can expand and think about what is the difference between density one spinning on an axis, density two in the whole universe, the whole time matrix, as we can think about it, it's been hundreds of billions of years that we've been here, you know. But anyway, why don't you take it away? Yeah.
Okay. And I suppose for millions of years we didn't remember everything that we were meant to. So I suppose that first I
For
will just,
millions, yeah, for millions. We haven't remembered
yes.
this. Yes. Yes, agreed. Yeah.
So why don't we just get straight into the presentation? Because I suppose that will give us like a basic breakdown of Earth
Okay.
as a multidimensional body. And then we are going to see what happens next. I kind of divided that presentation into a couple of parts. So first we'll speak about Earth and let's say its primordial blueprint, because I suppose the main goal of this entire video that we are recording is kind of like connecting with your primordial eternal self
Oh, I love it.
in
Yeah.
order to actually,
Yeah.
get to the core of who we are we here, why did we get so low that there is absolute zero, like we don't remember anything at first, or at least most of us, and then we are on that journey of, like trying to discover why are we actually here. So I hope that this presentation will bring back these memories that are always within you. We just need to kind of like uncover these layers, and that is like the challenging part.
That's so beautiful. I love that you said that because if we could break it down to three questions anyone can ask while watching is why are we here? How did we get here? And what to do next? And how to hold the frequency and the knowledge is sometimes it's scary, you know, but how to hold that and consistently be that. I love this. Thank you, Olivia. Let's go.
You're
It's
welcome.
all yours.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
see. Okay, and I will try to make that a little bit bigger. I think that's gonna be better. Okay.
I
So
really love the pictures that you made to go with this too. We were talking about that earlier. It's like what you can request from from a bot is pretty astounding right now. But these are beautiful pictures.
You know, the reason why I kind of put that on as like a rainbow planet is because of the fact that, you know, our planet Earth is like a NOMI planet,
Hmm.
meaning that it can run the full spectra of like the plasma currents, which are way beyond light, way beyond the hologram. They are kind of like the basis upon which the holographic reality exists. It's kind of
Mm.
like an elemental template. In a way, I see it this way as if like this externalized holographic world is based on these manifestation templates, which are the plasma templates, and they are
Hmm.
elemental templates. So everything that we see is a combination of different elements, and when all the 5 elements come together, they create this rainbow plasma stream. And literally, I do have incarnational memories when the planet had, let's say, like an rainbow overlay like that, and it was like a protective layer around our atmosphere.
Hmm. Yeah, that was the what was that called? The hydroplasma suspension field. That's actually what we think of mythologically as the fall of Atlantis, was a layer of that technology that was spiritual and worked into the grids. It collapsed. And so if you looked at it from the outside, it looked like a sinking of a continent. But yeah,
And
anyway,
you know,
we're jumping
one
too
of
far ahead
the
already.
let me just tell you something very interesting about that, because I
Mhm.
think people just need to hear this. Like, we get all this 5G these days, the 6G. I think
Right,
China
yeah.
is developing this 10G craziness. And you know what? It's not the first time that we are experiencing this. This
No,
already was happening on Atlantis. Some of the
yeah.
satellites that are, let's say, spinning around the planet, they are as old as millions of years. It's just they've been hijacked. In the past, they would be, you
Yes,
know,
they've
used
been
for like
hijacked.
sustaining of our atmosphere and things like that.
Mhm.
But on Atlantis, they were just used against us. And it's
Yes.
like they are trying to repeat the same phantom Atlantean timeline these days.
Which actually is part of what the net field is. The Nibiruan
Yes.
electrostatic transduction grid is it changes the reality that we can even experience if we're not tapped into it. So a lot of people when they question things like what they call it UAP now, or other than UFOs, these phenomena of interdimensional experience, which might be your soul family sometime, might be intruders, but you can see them only if if that part of your template is awakened to be able to see them. Same with Sasquatch and Bigfoot and stuff like that. That's literally a species that is extraterrestrial, but they live on Earth, but they're taking care of us. They're just so sensitive that moving a rock causes them pain. Like we're like, but they do are taking they're like scientists that they're like botanists, where they're just taking care of things, but they can also shift into density 2 or harmonic universe 2 by changing the axis of their particle spin by choice. But we are also able to do that as humans. It's just something that has been long, long, long forgotten because we don't even know how to think about it and to make it functionally effective anymore.
You
Anyway,
know, I think it's
I'm
good that you
interrupting.
mentioned that.
Yeah.
I think it's good that you mentioned that because yesterday I was actually having this big event about the dragons, like for the 8th of August. And actually, the story with dragons is that they used to be, you know, like regular inhabitants of our planet. They would circulate
Yeah.
between the portals of inner Earth and, let's say, this domain. But
Hmm.
what happened is that at some point we almost have, like, you know, this Game of Thrones scenario where dragons are used as tools for acquiring personal power and dominance. And
Hmm.
it got so severe to the point where they basically had to be rescued from our planet because certain Atlantean magicians were killing them for blood and for the dragon coding. So I
Hmm.
think that there's a lot of crime that we committed about towards the elemental kingdom, and I think that I speak about it a lot, like how much of that connection we used to have with the elemental kingdom back in the years of innocence, and now how little that connection is these days.
How little, indeed, yeah. And also, I love that you mentioned that too, because the Dra Yagun, like pronounced in Anuhazi, Dra Yagun races are in, like, I think density 4 or something. But the way that we can picture them, and that's also where Seraphi and the fallen ones that chose to fall for whatever influence that they had is like we think of them. It's retold. It's so amazing how our current storytelling that we have in movies and TV shows like Game of Thrones that you brought up, it's grabbing onto these ideas and retelling them, and it's a war story because that is what the fallen lines of like Anu and Draco that have been at war with each other for hundreds of billions of years want to manipulate us into thinking about the experience we have as a war. Because if we choose to just be, I understand the difference between these things, I choose a path of peace, that's our job. That's exactly the miracle of being a human being, which is unprecedented in the universe, is that I choose peace instead, you know? Like
Totally.
for example, like I make stuff like this. This is a tomahawk where the purpose of Toma in the Navajo language is to take something and split it in two. So this is like a tool that if I take it outdoors, like I can do that thing, which is also the function of judgment, right? I'm gonna split this, which is like the language of English, how it's about like breaking things down and transactional. But then also in Hawaiian, there's a word hui, which means to come together, like to put the things together. You can glue it together, nail it together. And then I like in Japanese, there's a toma, which means to wrap it up. So there's only literally three things you can do to external reality. You can toma, you can hui, and you can kimono. So yeah, anyway, that like everything, if you think about it, the house you're living in and stuff is built on a bunch of people being like, we're gonna toma, we're gonna hui, and then we're gonna kimono. Like you can paint it to, but those are the only three things you can do to external reality. And so a lot of the experience of history where it breaks it is when those things are out of balance. When someone says, I want to Toma you, you know, like if I want to use this thing as a weapon, like, yes, be very afraid. It just happens to be the most incredibly useful single thing that if I went out into nature and this was the only thing that I held. Also, I have these beads on here. These are sliding. I can count to 12 times 12 like an abacus with this. So so whatever I want to count, if it's my paces of distance of movement, if it's whatever I'm processing, I can count to 12 times 12 with it, which is it's so perfect and it hangs right off my belt. So it's like very easy to access, but also this is a Toma thing. This is a like I need to separate something right now. But in my mind, it's not a weapon. It's just the most useful. But I can also remember that because it's other lifetimes where I have, you know, indigenous native. I don't look like it because I don't have a lot of melanin in my skin, but like I can remember another lifetime where that was the tool that I used and it was a rock on a stick, basically. But now with modern, you know, with modern science of forging, I could make this out of stainless steel and dream this into existence, you know?
Beautiful. It's kind of
Yeah.
like an internal alchemy, right?
It's internal alchemy, exactly. And I feel so good when I hold it because it's not a weapon to me. It's like a thing to make more peace with or to build something, which sometimes you have to cut down a tree and you say thank you to it or or like a creature if you need to eat it is
As
something
all
that
the native tribes did in the past, right?
yeah.
And in a way, what you described kind of like we can even perceive it from these very big levels, where like in a way right now in this external creation, we are like it feels like we are in a separation. but eventually, like all of our steps here are meant to bring us back into reunion with the one source primordial field. So it's kind
I
almost
love that
split and
perspective.
then reunion
Yeah.
once again.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay,
I feel like I'm talking too much. Let's go through your
all good. I
presentation
mean,
here.
this is like 33 slides, so I suppose let's try not to make it 5 hours.
Okay. I'm here for however long it takes, though. Let's go. Primordial
Okay.
blueprint, as you mentioned. I love this. Yeah, it's like divine blueprint. Yeah, or
Yes.
templates. Yeah.
I refer to it as primordial because it was like the very first one, and there is like a certain intention behind it. I mean, I think it is good to realize like what is that primordial blueprint because it helps us realize what that mission was for like on Gaia, on Tara, and right now on Earth. Why are we here? And like a question here states, what are our primordial roots?
Hmm.
Because I think that if we all knew like where our soul comes from, what are our other incarnations, we would have an idea what we need to do in this one, and that would give us like that sense of mission.
Mm. I love the word primordial. Yeah. Did you know that have you ever heard of space sounds like the Voyager when it left NASA and went around other planets? It
Mm-hmm,
had
perhaps.
recording devices that could record with between 20 and 20,000 hertz, which is in the range of audible sound that our ears are tuned to. They still exist in space as so they're called space sounds, but the Voyager went around different moons and different planets, and it sounds like whales and dolphins singing. But those are considered primordial sounds because they're generated by nature, basically.
In a way that reminds me like, I was studying quite a lot of philosophy, and that was like quite a pretty famous concept. I do
Mm-hmm,
believe Plato was also mentioning that, or the Pythagoreans, that basically cosmos is emitting these, celestial harmonies.
mm-hmm.
And we cannot hear them apparently as they're stating because we are so used to them, but
Yeah,
in
but
a
they're
way they
always
are really
happening.
part of our being.
Yeah. And that's actually what human beings do, like dolphins and whales also, is they're emitting like birds also, they're emitting sounds that are changing the fabric of reality or the grid lines of reality. So when we sing and when we experience joy and when we laugh, it actually changes the vibration of the reality that you experience and that you get to share with other people. It's so cool, you know.
It
Also,
is beautiful.
yeah, in Anuhazi too, Jeshua, it means one that is filled with God's source spirit or one that is filled with laughter. And Jeshua is the guy that's a composite of three people from the Bible as Jesus,
Yeah.
or Muhammad. Every single spiritual system has an idea of this person that basically gave access to the 12-strand DNA imprint to everyone in the world, you know but it means to be filled with laughter. If we don't take ourselves so seriously and we just like can relax into it, laugh yeah, anyway, okay, it's your turn to talk. I'm
Yeah, it
talking
is
too
the
much.
embodiment of the primordial joy, right?
Yeah, yes, the
Like we
embodiment
have
of
these
primordial joy. Yes.
we have this like a set of 144 eternal virtues, as I'm referring to them. And
Mm-hmm.
these are almost like this aspect of the divine constant that the source is kind of like emanating towards every bubble of creation. And then, in a way, like embodiment of these virtues is bringing us closer to that.
Divine constant, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's three principles of that, but that's like a little bit complex, so maybe we can talk
Yeah,
about.
I love that. I'm gonna write it down. Anyway, keep
Okay.
going. Yeah.
Okay, so talking about the primordial things, let's talk about the Earth's primordial blueprint because that will help us get a better idea what this is. Because something that I found myself like even studying Keylontic science is that I've always kind of wanted to just reach that primal energy, that primal blueprint that is almost like something that is ideal, has never been reversed, something that is kind of like a certain template upon which like everything else was later manifested.
Yeah.
And that brought me to like more studies about the domain of eternal creation, and then the concept of primordial essences came in, where these are indeed these like primordial blueprints that right now are held in the Earth's known seed as a part of the eternal crystal river host, but in a way they have their origins in that eternal Urea conservatory domain. And what that means is that our human angelic race line, it has its primordial blueprint, the one that was created first, and then we have its downstepped externalized versions. So in a way, restoration and reconnection with that primordial blueprint can assist us with accelerated bioregenesis and kind of like coming back to our roots.
And it's
So,
really like, even learning this, I'd like to point out too, I've explained this to other people, it's a process of remembering. Like learning a new thing and being brave enough to like let it in and consider it is also the process of remembering what you have forgotten, because it's in everyone's template,
yes.
right? Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
All good. I mean,
Keep
I think
going,
that
yeah.
what you're saying is very interesting, and it's also like very grounding for like what I'm talking about. So I do appreciate all of that. So I will just read like what it says on the slide here, and I will elaborate a little bit on that. Earth's original primordial name is Arion, which stands for eternal land or island, like in the eternal language, I would say even like a pre-Anahazi language. In organic circumstances, all aspects of Earth ought to remain in forever state of union with this primordial blueprint. So in a way, it's like it's the Earth's connection to its source point, it's Gaia's connection to the source point. It's as if you put all of the aspects of Earth all together reunited with its primordial blueprint that carries its original mission. And that is very much connected to that whole polarity drama that has been taking place in our universe throughout eons and even beyond our universe, of course.
And
Um,
also, just to clarify, when you say Gaia, so the name of Earth and density 1, and then Tara and Gaia, is Gaia density 4? But these are layers
we
of
will get to that.
identity,
I have it on
right?
the next
Oh, you've
slide.
got that. Okay, good. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Let's
I
go.
just want to
Sorry.
start with like the other less popular aspects. Even though they should be the most popular, but it is what it is. So the first aspect, or let's say the first primordial blueprint, as I said before, its name is Arion. And this is the Earth's primordial core essence. And I would say that like it's like a blueprint. So there's not necessarily like any like experiential life field there. It's kind of like as if you have that ideal form of yourself that is out there, and it's kind of like meant to guide you throughout your journey, through your experience within the cosmoversal creation bubble of the source. The first, like, let's say, manifested, partially expression of Arion is Urea Earth, and this is the Earth's eternal self-identity.
Urea.
Urea. And this one resides in the eternal creation, because in general, for those of you who are not aware, let's say we live in like a certain, let's say, cycle of creation that is known as UNASA. And during that cycle, the consciousness of the source is emanating from the core of itself, a cosmoversal creation bubble. And we all reside within that cosmoversal creation bubble. And that creation bubble is composed of three domains of creation: the eternal creation, where we have the eternal Urea body, the internal creation, where we have the plasma body templates, and then the external creation, where we have the light body. That's basically how I try to explain it as easy as possible. And then we have multiple aspects of Earth that decided to express itself throughout all of the domains of creation in order to have as interesting experience as possible. Because the
And
domain of
wow, in
eternity,
order to have the most interesting experience possible. Yeah, that's the reason for the Toma function.
yeah,
It's whatever you dream, you're also creating. Yeah.
exactly. So in a way, I guess planet Earth or Arion is having its own dream and it's exploring it throughout all sorts of different like let's say areas of that cosmoversal creation bubble. And
Hmm.
usually it's this way, like in the eternal creation, there's like that full reunion and full reconnection with the source. It's as if like in there the free will equals divine will. So it's like everything is fully aligned with the source intention. But it's a little bit
Hmm.
different in the internal and external creation, where you already have like a certain individuation and your free will that, you can always choose to like align your free will with the divine will, but you don't have to. It can be also a part of your experience to choose differently and then find your way
Yeah,
back to the one source field once again. So it's always a matter of personal choice.
it's always a matter in nanosecond moment decisions we make. We can always be aligned or we can always do the opposite or the reverse. Yeah.
Yes, and it is a very interesting thing with Earth. When I once got like a message, I think it was coming from the consciousness of Mother Earth, where it's like, you have these very fallen races that I guess we'll speak
Hmm.
about, like black dragons, draconians. They are like on that dark side of the yin yang. And then you have
Yeah,
very light races, which are like, very much aligned with like the Christic things and all of that, but like we are always like in between. So in a way, we are like a bridge between these two
yes.
races to kind of be able to understand each other better, because sometimes it feels like the light cannot fully understand the dark, and obviously the dark cannot fully understand the light. So
Absolutely, because it's a polarized war story. It's like Star Wars too. You have the Jedi and the Sith. It's like, but these are the warring races as we modern day mythologically think of them, to where like the point of the story is to be more like Yoda, who is the bridge between, is like the path of peace in between the polarization. Because we're often really almost all of our modern day media, TV shows and stuff are manipulating us to think of the story you experience as a war story or a battle or a fight. It's not that. It's I can see that influence, but I choose a path of peace. That's the prayer of the Christic, you know. It well, in my opinion, at least. Anyway,
I
I'm
agree.
sorry.
I mean, I think it's a just one more thing before we get to the slide. It
Yeah,
is actually a part of the insertions into the manifestation templates of our creation that I
totally agree.
refer to it as the yin yang overlay, where we always perceive things in category of good or bad, not like whether
Hmm.
this is aligned with my highest evolutionary objective. So it's
Yes.
also like a part of like clearing that overlay, not just for the fallen races, but actually also for the Christic ones that may still perceive things through that lens.
And we as human beings, we're like the most, like our divine innocence of being able to connect to source. We are so easily naive to be manipulated to change the story. And it's what we choose to do if we're like looking at each other, if our language even, or our culture, our leadership of our culture is saying, let's go get these people, let's they're our enemy. No, it's not. The concept of enmity, enmity, enmity means you think of having an enemy. What if you just don't do that? That's like a big fan of Bruce Lee. He wrote a book called The Way of Jeet Kune Do, and he said you practice martial arts, right? Like, why did I make something like this? Seriously, I just have this fascination with making these. It's memories, but also I was a very tiny person when I was a kid, and I just got bullied a lot. And then I trained in martial arts, a couple ones, and I read Bruce Lee's book, and it's like alchemy. He said you train to defeat your enemy, and then once you have that experience of defeating your enemy, then you learn how to never create enemies anymore. That's what a martial art is. It's the same way like art, when you draw a painting or something, you are manifesting a beautiful dream that is of peace, hopefully. But sometimes we have to express the trauma before we can get to that stage. So, okay, I'm done. I'm sorry.
Very much
I'm
so.
talking too much. Yeah.
As I said, it's all related, and I think that it brings us like a deeper understanding of these things. So I totally don't mind. So where was I? I was talking about Urea Earth, and as I said, it's like the eternal self-identity of our planet. And this is where some of us will be going throughout the next 800 years of the eternal crystal river host. We are going to like the planetary time wave templates are going to get
Mhm.
vibrationally adjusted to the time templates of Urea Earth. I mean, time doesn't even really exist there, but let's say it's like a certain
Yeah.
like a certain definition for us to have like a better understanding that like even the scientists are saying these days that the planet is spinning faster, that suddenly the Earth's core is spinning in the opposite direction. So we get all these changes that they cannot explain,
Hmm.
and that's all
Yeah.
related to the changes that are occurring in the planetary time wave templates.
Hmm. Yeah, and what's happening is that we're able to align with the probability vector that we choose, which is more positive, more love, more inclusive of everything you want, rather than, oh, I'm so like the unelevated emotions that are, I'm so frustrated, I don't want this thing. Like those are
Precisely.
dramatically changing right now.
And so next we have the planet, the version of Earth that is referred to as Area. And this one, when I was showing in the beginning this rainbow image, this is kind of like another very Christic expression of Earth that actually looks rainbow. I have spent a lot of time on Area Earth, and I did have like a lot of experiences like with being among the trees there and like almost like the trees spreading like that rainbow dust into the air, and then you're just
Oh.
inhaling it in and you have this very beautiful experience. And next we have the deity Earth, or it's also called the Alea Earth. And this one is basically located already in the internal creation. And if you were to search like for the divine blueprint for the Earth's elemental kingdom, it would be out there. This is where we have like these elemental templates upon which all the other external aspects of Earth manifest. And finally, we have the Aurora Earth, which is the Earth's fully integrated aspect within the external creation. But as we know, it suffered quite a lot of fragmentation. And we are going to have some time throughout this presentation to talk about that specific fragmentation. But
Mm.
just to keep in mind, we have, and here comes the thing that there's like this yin yang that we actually had the chance to speak about. It started to manifest within the structure of our planet Earth and its multidimensional aspects, because first we had Aramatena in density 4, but as we are going to learn, Aramatena fell, and we will get to
Hmm.
that why it fell, and it almost like split into half into Gaia, and in the antiparticle universe we had Maya. And these planets, for a while, they stayed together because they were meant to like come into one and be rebirthed as Aramatena again. But actually, Gaia fell, and that's how we ended up having Tara and Hara. And
Hmm.
this part of the fallen channelings that is mentioning Tiamat, it's actually referring to Hara that was fully infiltrated by the fallen
Hmm.
angelic legions. And then finally, in density 1, we have Earth and the
Yeah.
antiparticle version of Earth that
And
is
Tiamat in our modern solar system is the asteroid belt beyond Jupiter, right?
wouldn't that be Maldek? not the antipode.
Maldek and Tiamat, I think, are both like part of that rubble of
So
rocks.
from what I remember, Tiamat was like a planet in dimension 5, and then something happened to it.
Mm-hmm. But
But
they broke down in layers into
yeah,
what our current evolution in density one are pieces of that. But I think that Tiamat, anyway, keep
that would
going.
make
Yeah.
sense because if we look at it this way, then like Maldek would be between Mars and Jupiter. So I suppose it would be the fifth planet. And if
Mm-hmm.
Tiamat was in dimension 5, then they could have created like a wormhole.
Mm-hmm. But this is warring races that blew their planets up, which is
Yes,
why like, and apparently the moon, like what we think of as the moon to Earth, is a piece of that planet or one of them, where it's like the Death Star in Star Wars. That's what that is, you know?
very much so. Very much
Yeah.
so. Okay, so let's see what we have next. I will just read this about Arion, like just a couple of additional information about that primordial blueprint. And then we'll
Okay.
want to get into like the question like where did evil come from? Because I suppose that's also like one of the
Yeah,
questions.
that's a great question. Where did evil come from? Yes.
Yeah, because people
Yeah.
are asking that to themselves, even if they are like religious, they are like, where did that start? And they have
Yeah.
sort
Why
of
do
weird
bad things
stories.
happen to good people? Oh, it's a philosophical and spiritual question that,
It is. It
yeah.
is. And maybe I will be able to partially answer that. So let's see.
Let's see. Yeah, I think you're going to do an amazing job, by the way. This is so fun. Yeah.
Okay, let's see how I'm gonna do it. Okay. So, to kind of just make a small conclusion, Earth is a transplania, multidimensional, vast body of consciousness, and we are all a part of this celestial organism. So it's like we are like these small cells that are just,
Hmm.
a part of that bigger whole. The original mission of Arion Earth is devoted service as last platform of final salvage for all forms of life that wish to reclaim their incarnational birthright to the free gifts of the source, which are eternal life, eternal connection and free will, and peaceful evolution in alignment with the cosmic universal Christic laws. So that means
Mm.
that even if our whole universe was to fall
Hmm.
apart, we are still kind of like that last bridge of rescue throughout which other race lines can like get a safe passage to, higher evolutionary planes where the situation is not so critical.
Yep.
And now we're going to get to the event that is referred to as the Elasian First Fall. I started to first get the messages about that like over a year ago because I was wondering like about a lot of things about history, like where is that first fall and how did it start? So I would like to bring that story a little bit closer. So now we're moving to another category, events in universal history. And that brings us to like two main questions. Why do we have so many wars on this planet? And maybe it is the reflection of intergalactic
Mm.
dynamic.
The intergalactic dynamic. Yeah, Star Wars is real.
It
It just
is.
all the name really in any movie you've ever watched, any story that's about a war battle, it's kind of, if you think about it, it's true. Like mythology, like Joseph Campbell said, mythology is culture speaking to itself. But all the names of the beings involved and the characters have been changed to protect the guilty, basically. You know, like Darth Vader is literally the same construct as thinking of Lucifer or Satan in the Bible, or whatever the temptress is, or like the what's the term, succubus or incubus? Succubus would be a female that is tempting energy out of the male, and an incubus is the seductress for the male female dynamic. But it's all of these things are real. They are, but the way we tell the story is oftentimes just to make it fun, because it's more fun to watch Star Wars than to actually comprehend what that means and do the thing where you're the point of peace in the middle of the war
And you
story.
know, this is all
Yeah.
like a part of our programming that we receive here as well, because you know,
Oh
all of
yeah.
even if you forget the story, it still stays in your unconscious, and then um
Yep. And then it's
easy
just
for
there
people
to
to
be
be prepared
activated.
for. Mhm.
Yeah. When someone pushes your trigger or whatever the thing is, if you're too stressed out, and then you're like, oh, I want to fight. Like sometimes, or it's shut down. Like for me, the thing is like when I get too triggered, I basically just like shut down. I do the, like try to be invisible, which is also a trained trauma response rather than to fight back. But these are programmings that are subconscious and unconscious that we can heal functionally. And just talking about it like this is
Yes.
so beautiful to me, Olivia, because we're talking about things that most human beings can't even think about how to remember. But to just forgive these things means like it brings the path of peace more clear in just our day-to-day nanosecond choices in life.
You know, I have a great deal of respect for people who are, like, even if they are not aware of everything that we're talking about, they just always choose to learn and stay open-minded, because it's like these small nudges from your soul that you're getting, like, what am I
Mhm.
doing here? Where do I come from? And if you've had these questions ever since you were a child, then that does mean that there is this spirit that is trying to trigger your 3D identity to start its own conscious journey. And
Mm.
like, I would say that a part of this, like shutting down or getting panic attacks, PTSD, this is all been pretty much designed to, keep us dormant, to
Mhm.
prevent us actually from getting the right answers. I mean, I think something that is always the case is like people are always afraid to ask questions, and that is the fault of the educational system that discourages them from doing that.
Yep.
So,
Yep. My brother taught me something the other day. He said he coaches his baseball team of his kids play for, and he was saying that he can't, like, what he's trying to do is train younger people to manage their emotions better. And one of the things that he uses as an acronym is BAMO, BAMO, which means breathe and move on. If something happened in the moment, take a breath, let it go, breathe and move on, move to the present moment, because then you don't get stuck in the emotion of something like trauma, like something happened. I got hurt, that thing hit me, whatever the thing is, right? Or that person said something to me that like hurt my feelings because my fields were open. But to breathe and move on and to forgive is about letting it go so that it's not part of the current story you're saying in the current moment, to just be present with. I just love that. I love that. I
that's
love that this is like the dream we're doing together to explain why does evil exist even
and I'm glad that,
esoterically,
we
you
can
know?
talk about it like with a smile on our faces,
Hmm.
because that is a very heavy topic.
It's a very
But
heavy topic, but we have to laugh because it's
yes.
like, what the blah, like holy moly. Yeah.
So let's get to it, shall we?
Let's go. Let's go. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I
All
apologize.
good. I mean,
Yeah.
as I said, it's all kind of creating a story. So let's see
Hmm.
how it goes.
Okay.
So I'm going to read that, and I think in the next slides I've got a couple of more explanations, like a small timeline of that Elasian
Okay.
fall. So the Elasian first fall refers to an event, an experiment that took place in the internal creation fields and led to the emergence of the Black Legion, the Black Dragon races who are fallen Elasians, representing the highest level of fall possible, referred to as the Gonfall 100% reversal of the internal plasma template. This event is the root cause behind the imprints of duality and the overlays of separations that spread through the entire cosmoversal creation bubble. And what does that mean? That means that, you know, there's been other experiments before where they would just like some races would agree to like disconnect to a certain extent from their source point
Hmm.
to kind of see how that goes, right? To for the
Yeah,
source.
but it was an innocent choice. It was what happens if I
Yes, and
completely disconnect from source.
you see, but it
Oh.
never happened to like 100% where your light body is fully reversed and then your plasma body is fully reversed. I mean,
Hmm.
that just means absolute evil. Like, if you are
Hmm.
disconnected fully from your internal template, then what else do you have? Like, you're
What
infiltrated
else do
even
you
from the
have?
inside.
Yeah, yeah.
And so a part of, these Elasian races agreed to make such decision.
Hmm.
But the thing is that when the Elasians that were observing that experiment, when they noticed what's happening, these races were already like, well, it's too late. Like I don't want to be good again. Like I actually enjoy being evil because they just completely
Yeah.
forgot who they were before that experiment. And that basically led to all the other races in creation that we know nowadays that are fallen, like Draconians, Anunnaki, Borgia, all of them got
Hmm.
infiltrated through the Black Dragon race line.
Yeah. Also, I want to point out here too, like it might throw people off that we're talking about 980 billion years ago, but the way that we think of time in density one that we're in right now, most scientists would agree that this density, as we think about it, when we look at the Big Bang, is about 14 billion years old. But time changes in larger structures of dimensionality. And when the axis rotates, so when we're talking about 980 billion years, this is measured in density 4. It's like encompassing. So yeah,
So we
it's
are
but
kind of
it's
perceiving it from the Earth time, but
yes, but we're perceiving
yeah,
it from Earth time in that measurement, even though Earth hasn't been around for nearly that long in this density. So, just to extrapolate what that measurement of time means, it's like looking as an ant into space and
yes.
saying, oh, that's the perspective for it. So, anyway, please keep going.
So that experiment took place 980 billion years ago. The Black Dragon race line was created through that, complete disconnection from the source point, both on the internal and external levels.
Hmm.
2 billion years later, the Black Dragons started developing, and the thing is that it's as if they were literally running that program, like infiltrate everything, destroy everything, but a
Hmm.
little bit different than Draconians, for example, because these guys would just attack every system that is on their way.
Right,
But
yeah, just destroy everything. Like just
yeah,
it's
well, the
rape and
Black
pillage
Dragons are a little
reversal.
bit different.
Yeah,
Because the
it
thing is that, because technically they are very highborn races. I mean, they started in the internal creation, full access to the plasma template.
hmm.
Well, the thing is that they had extreme intelligence. They were very, very intelligent. So, in a way, they knew that in order to fully control this universe, they needed to get an access to the manifestation templates. So, they would first
Hmm.
target the races that were in charge of that specifically.
Yeah.
So, they've been using very intelligence specific strategies throughout the eons of their great cosmoversal conquest, as it's called, their invasion. And that's why they got this far, to the point where that eternal host had to be activated in the grid so that we could reconnect with Arion and start to kind of like gather enough frequencies in the grids in order to finally put this cosmoversal drama towards an end.
Hmm.
Um,
And the plasma activation, that part of the Nomi seed is also built into Earth, where if you hurt it too much, it just basically goes back to source as a host. So
Precisely. Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
And so that kind of brings like a deeper realization that like if you look at it this way, our local time matrix, the 12-dimensional time matrix, was created 960 billion years ago in order to actually prevent the further spread of the black dragons into different parts of the cosmos. So actually the mission of the entire universe that we are in is finally putting a stop to that expansion, to that
Mhm.
invasion.
Yeah, like we're the solution. Indigos, modern day indigos, is like even the Christ story didn't finish, and then the King Arthur story also didn't finish. They did some things, but we are actually the modern day medicine to this story that goes back hundreds of billions of years. It's so amazing.
It's
Seriously, this
beautiful.
is so amazing. It might be the best time to be alive in a human body right now, too, because you know,
I think so. And to
yeah.
most people that are asking me, like, is this going to be my last incarnation? It always feels like it will be, as if like we are in this time where we are just like, healing all of the past life traumas that we have left, bringing back all of our
Mhm.
soul shards, and finally just kind of getting out of the planetary prison that we've been stuck in such a long time, and
Yeah,
we are
yeah.
making the change.
We are the ones we've been waiting for as an adage. I've heard that many times, but it's literally true. If you choose to believe that, you are the one you've been waiting for. What do you choose today? You know? Anyway, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
So let's take a look at the significant conflicts in our universal history. Um, we are going to just go through it like part by part, I think, throughout the
Okay.
next slides.
Mm-hmm.
So our time matrix was created like 960 billion years ago. Then from 850 to 550 billion years ago, we have the wars in the heavens that were taking place between the Brenau races from density 5 and the black dragons that try to basically fully take over our time matrix almost since its very beginning. Um, and then we have the fall of Aramatena that followed, and the other universal conflicts that were a result of the fact that we got
And Aramatena is
separated.
node 12 on the Cathara grid, right? And then
Yes,
Orion is node 8. So those were like attacked intergalactically in density 4 to shut off source connection to the time matrix that we're in. Yeah.
yes. And it's like, I think something that can be a bit helpful for people like to see if they actually hold that kind of trauma is that a lot of people who have like thyroid or thymus gland issues,
Mm-hmm.
thymus gland is on the level of
Yeah, because
zero point 0.8.
thymus chakra 8 is here and goes
Yes,
through your pineal gland at the back of your head. It's gold colored.
exactly.
But
So the
yeah,
thing is that if you have physical issues like thyroid dysfunction, it might be also a result of the trauma that comes from the Gaian Orion wars.
mm-hmm.
Or very often like a result of inner child fragmentation and not being able to express yourself, but that's kind of like out of the subject, but
Interesting.
there's like a lot
Yeah.
of layers to it.
Yeah. Well, psychologically, the experience too, like if you have layers of your other layers of identity in that matrix where it collapsed and then it's gone, there's like a longing and wanting for that thing. I think it like manifests for a lot of people as like wanting to be a people pleaser too.
Well, let me
Like,
tell you a very funny story. I mean,
let's go.
it was a bit scary, but it happened yesterday. So I was actually spending some time like by the on the north of Poland where you have the sea and like a pretty nice city with like Tartarian based architecture.
Oh,
And
really? Okay.
yes, and I woke up and I couldn't really see on my right eye. Like it was all just blurred. And
Wow.
yeah, and I've been feeling like extremely like dizzy. I was like, what am I even doing here? And I went out on a walk, just kind of trying to clear my head. And I noticed that like a big part of my spirit was actually just hanging above the sea, as if I was like peeking into something, like trying to like either find a lost part of myself that kind of drowned or something like that. And I basically just asked that part of the spirit to come back, because suddenly the way that I saw it is that there was like a black hole here, so like where my right eye is, and
Oh,
on the back of my
wow.
left head. And let me tell you, the very second my spirit, my soul came back into my body, or at least that missing part, I could just see on my right eye.
Wow. That's so beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
so
so beautiful.
it was creepy, but
Well,
but
I
then
mean, what is
it had its
creepy? You know,
purpose.
what's funny? Like, so I'm like, if I don't have glasses on, I'm legally blind. Like everything outside 6 inches of my face is just a big blurry thing if I don't have corrective vision. But
Mhm.
when I don't have glasses on, only through my left eye, I can look at someone and I can like see their layers of their auric field. Like they can see colors around people, but I don't like it. It's like not fun a lot of the time, but it's something where, yeah, but it's funny, it's only my left eye can do that without it on. Like I can just look at a person, and especially if they're against like a contrasted background, like at the beach or against a white wall, like I can see the layers of their auric field that are activated. A lot of people look like green and blue usually. Some people are purple, but it's different layers of their auric field that is active in their template. Like I can see it with my eyes. That's crazy, right?
Not so much. I mean, I also like, I'm wearing contact lenses, but I'm also like
Hmm.
having quite a bit of like defect of vision. And
Are you nearsighted too?
sorry?
Are you nearsighted? Like you can see things close but not far away?
Yes, I cannot
Yeah,
see
yeah,
from the distance. And
yeah,
like from my perspective, it's kind of like, because I can see like
yeah,
multidimensionally,
yeah, yeah.
there's like a physical price behind it, considering that like on a physical level, we still have a lot of like distortions in our bodies.
Yep,
And that is like a result of it. And
yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I actually got guidance in like, when we're talking about these other dimensional experiences, when I'm talking to my soul family or whomever, is that nearsightedness in your physical body is a fear of the future because you've been traumatized in other lifetimes so that you can't even see clearly because I don't know, like something could have happened, like getting your eyes cut out or something like that. But
And
it's
that does
also
make a
like
lot of
a
sense.
fear of the next thing to forgive.
That actually does make a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Actually, I totally resonate with it, even like considering my incarnational history. So thank you for sharing that.
Mhm. Let's keep going though.
Yes.
I feel like I keep interrupting you. I just want to add to this
As I
wonderful.
said, not at all. So maybe we will have to divide it into two parts. I don't know. Let's
Yeah,
keep going.
yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our local time matrix. It's basically what I already said, that the universal matrix of Antalya was created in order to prevent the further Black Dragon invasion and to provide a Christic sanctuary for all the souls that decide peaceful, source-centered evolution. So this is
Hmm.
where we are.
It's like a quarantine chunk of, and when you
Yes,
say time matrix too, like that word means like what we think of as the universe. When you look
yes,
externally, the time matrix, it's how time like holds a thing in a place. But this is density one time matrix we're talking about.
precisely. And so I guess the first conflict that I would like to just touch base on are the Gaian Orion Wars. And I will talk more about Gaia in the next section. But basically, the significance of Gaia, as we mentioned, was that center number 8, dimension 8, where we have the metagalactic core, which is almost like a local 0 point interface. Because if you look at it this way, you've got dimension 8 in the middle, 7 dimensions below it, and 7 dimensions above it. So it's kind of like the center, almost like the heart of the universe that is like pumping in the source frequencies and then, bringing the other energies from the universe and then back into the 0 point, which is the source point. So that's why that area was very much on target ever since the very beginning, especially after the fall of Aramatena, because it was almost like the last rescue for this universe to, stay connected to its Eka core and then to the larger Akasha and like to kind of maintain its connection with the neighboring universes as well. So the Fatali and the Draconian races invaded the systems of Orion as well as Gaia. So it's kind of like that massive universal drama that was taking place was also like Gaia was directly affected by it, and Gaia was also important because Gaia was holding like a spark of the essence
Yeah.
of Ramatena. So
I think of it like this. I'm just a big fan of this whole Star Wars thing, especially the first movies. But it's like Alderaan being blown up. Like it's literally an attack of precision that you can't even imagine by beings that have equipment that's capable of moving a star, you know,
yeah.
in another density. It but yeah, that's why we're here. Like how we got here. Anyway, keep going, keep going.
Okay, so let me see. Okay, so these are the next significant conflicts that we had a little bit later. After the fall of Gaia, we have the fall of Tara, which is like already the aspect of Earth in density 2, and so-called Pleiadian Wars. The cosmoversal conquest reaches dimension 5. And that's where that kind of like, I call it like the white dragon agenda is being born,
Yeah.
where we have this 5D ascension agenda, which is like meant to give us that metatronic structure with the, platonic solids like the Metatron's cube, and then the 10 point tree of death and the daisy of death. So all of these structures that are basically like meant to literally entrap us within the matrix, like connect us
It's
to
like the phase
artificial
lock,
intelligence.
the flower of life, as it's called, right? Is a
Yes.
phase locked pattern that doesn't move. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sacred geometry, right? But that's so old that like, yeah. Anyway, keep going.
So what did I want to say here? Let me just get back my thought. We were talking about this.
Fall of Metatron, so the phase locked pattern happened
Yes.
430 billion years ago, and that was just a perpetuating what we think of as like an intruder is operating from that structure.
I actually remember what I wanted to say. Thank you for that. So, we were even talking like before we started recording this about the artificial intelligence. And in a way,
Mm,
artificial intelligence is very closely connected with the 5D agenda because it's operating on the same geometric patterns. So,
mm.
something that people need to understand is AI is not like, it's not on the 3D level, it's multidimensional, and the objective of introducing it to this density level is to also connect us to that massive um,
Oh,
artificial grid.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I
Hmm.
mean, even if you have that, like the logo of ChatGPT, the first thing that came to my mind, I don't know if you saw it
Oh,
before,
hold on. I need to look it up. I don't
it
even know
looks
what the logo
extremely
looks
phase
like.
locked. Like it's kind of like
Oh, really? Okay.
it's like as if it's meant to entrap your consciousness. You can look
Yeah.
it up and you will see. It's there's something weird about that pattern. Like I don't like it.
Yeah, because it's like this rather
Yes,
than like,
like a mind loop, right?
yeah, it's a loop. Yeah, like reincarnation is the same thing. It's like you're trapped.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. That's so interesting. And then AI, true, is really like if you remove the node 8 and the node 12 from the Cathara grid, you're just stuck in the loop because you can't remember how you got here, because that's what node 8 is, right? From chakra 8. And then how to get back, the remembrance how to get back, it's gone. Like, so you're just doing this, spinning your
You
wheels in
know,
the
but I
mud.
think
Yeah.
that in a way it's like we do it like unconsciously already because like even if we are learning maths at school, it's all based on the decimal system. Like you've got 10, 20, 30, 40. And then
Oh,
people who
right. Yeah.
struggle, why some people, especially children, struggle with maths? That's because their brain is adjusted to the 12.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like through mathematics at school, they're getting like infiltrated with that 10
Mhm.
based mathematics.
Right, which is kind of easy if you just add a decimal point for tens, but also
Yes.
thinking in 12s is, you know, what's really amazing too is that America, of all places, is preserving this divine measurement system, which is using the human body and its ratio of its size to Earth as that's what a mile is. It's 1,000 human paces. So but the base 12 measurement system is basically using your own body as a measurement system in your proportions to the earth itself. And it's amazing that America, of all places, is the one still, because almost every other country in the world is on the metric system, which is very functionally effective when you want to just do simple math, because you just like move the decimal point when you measure something, you know, but a base 12 learning system is more connected to divine geometry, you know,
And to the
actual
way
sacred.
our planet should be. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's what things look like. That's the important thing is that if you can imagine a Cathara grid, and if you can imagine the layers of your auric field as, you know, because a lot of the things we have to look at are just artistically represented. But if your consciousness works with that, it changes your experience because you're imagining something that's not broken energetically. It's the same way that if like let's say I break my arm, right? The bone in my arm is broken. Well, I can get it casted, but for someone to help me with that problem, if I can't imagine the bones in my body, I'm not going to fix it properly. But if I can imagine like the healed version of what my hands and my body look like, then I can it amplifies the healing effect, basically, you know?
Very much so. And this
Yeah.
is actually one of the, let's say, methods that I also utilize on the personal healing sessions. So, kind of like
Yeah.
trying to allow everyone to, like, let's say, get to that blueprint of something that may have been damaged and then like, get that original, perfected version of it.
Yeah. And just requesting the idea like from an individual to say, I am going to consider this idea and try it on is part of the healing process. That's alchemy, like you brought up earlier, right? Anyway, let's
Yes.
keep going into history. We're only 400 billion years ago. Yeah.
Yes, let's try to speed up a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so then we have this event called the Arcturian Heavenly Wars. We have the invasion of Arcturus by the White Dragon races, and that only amplifies that 5D ascension agenda connected to AI. And then 300 billion years ago, so I actually realized I should have put that in the beginning, but that's just the timeline that I messed up a bit because that's billion, not million years ago, so that
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't become confusing for people. We
Mhm.
have the Andromeda Milky Way split, where basically Andromeda, like Milky Way used to be a part of Andromeda, and actually Andromeda used to be a part of something referred to as Aqualasha galaxy. And now here is the very interesting thing is that actually I will just jump into this slide. We suffered two splits on the galactic level. So like right now we know that in the center of our Milky Way we have the black hole. And that black hole serves as an opening for the phantom energies to come in. And from my perspective, that part is already buffered, like it's been put under the eternal protectorate so that it doesn't see any more damage. However,
Mhm.
that black hole is a result of the split that occurred between Andromeda and Milky Way. As you said, as you once compared it, it was just like a massive explosion. But
Yeah.
the thing is that
Or
actually,
a big bang, right?
yes.
Like, yeah.
Like Andromeda and Milky Way also used to be a part of something bigger, and that was called Aqualasha. And
Aqualasha.
yes, I think it carries like a very special frequency vibration name. And the thing is that nowadays there is something called the deity bridge, and that bridge is kind of integrating these three galaxies together. Like they're coming slowly towards the center.
Mm-hmm.
And that is allowing us to finally like find our true home, like a complete home, like
Mm.
when we have
Oh, that's beautiful.
beings
I
from
love that.
Aqualasha. There's a lot of souls from Aqualasha that I recently met. There's a lot of souls from Andromeda that I know. And obviously also from our galaxy. And now all of them are coming together. So for many souls, it is also a great celebration because they can find their own way home.
Mm-hmm. But we're all meeting each other right now in the middle
Yes,
somehow. After being lost of like trauma that is almost, well, it's not impossible to describe, but it's been so, so long to reconnect. It's
it's
been
been ages.
so long. Yeah.
It's been ages. So that magical
Yeah.
reconnection is happening. I guess it's easier to visualize it through that image. And
Mm-hmm.
um, let's take a look about something about the Arcturian heavenly wars, because I would like to just warn any people that are working with like Arcturians, especially like any kind of Arcturian channeling. Or
Mm-hmm.
there's this very popular trend with like traveling, like astral projecting to the Arcturian healing chambers.
Yep.
Absolutely not.
Don't do it. Yeah. That's really important too. It's to identify the difference between channeling and also chelantic transmission, or speaking with your layers of higher self. Is that
Mhm.
channeling is when you let another entity to like use your body to speak for you. And the danger in that is that entity can energetically consume you while you do that. Whereas chelantic communication, or just being in the path of peace, is it's your soul family speaking to you. It's not an intruder that might like, you know, try to eat you while they're giving you something that feels valuable as
Or
information.
even,
Arcturian is
just
very compromised.
reaching that internal still point where you just become the voice of your eternal essence. Like you can
Yeah.
compare it like going to the eye of the storm where the sun is shining, like the reality around you may be crazy, but you are not participating in it. When you are in the eye of the
Yeah.
storm, you are just
Yeah.
the witness.
Wow, I love that metaphor. You're not participating when you're in the eye of the storm. That's so beautiful. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it can be treated as like a personal source point, or it can just be like you being in the middle of that storm. You can see all sorts
Mm-hmm.
of things happening around you, but they do not affect you. And this way, you can get more like a universal perspective on, what is happening in your life and in your environment.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's just mention these Arcturian heavenly wars very quickly.
Okay.
Um, Arcturus was mainly infiltrated because there were like a lot of like healer races there, and Arcturus was meant to become another false ascension center. So that's why we have these Arcturian healing chambers that some people may feel drawn to them because they used to be good back in the old days of innocence. It's
Mm-hmm.
just at the moment it serves as one of the most significant spiritual traps that are being used for Metatronic initiations and channeling. So there's like a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people's aspects of their multidimensional selves that are being abducted over there. So that's just something like very, very
Yeah. But that's an important thing too in discernment, is like, and awakening and becoming aware of like there is a spiritual trap like almost everywhere in every teaching, but it's about one's own initiation and ability to discern, am I going to engage this thing?
precisely. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes people are like forgetting that spirituality is not about like looking on the outside, because that may just give you more filters and overlays, and that's how
Yep.
most of us start. It's
Hmm.
meant to be like looking on the inside and finding the answers within you.
Yep. I remember even Easha saying something about like you can sing church songs like from a Christian, like Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Like there's some kind of the part of the lyrics where if you just sing it slowly, it also transmutes the thing. Like if you put the intention in it, it does like the words don't even matter. But I like singing Anuhazi differently because anyway, yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Let's keep going. Plasma wars.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the next great conflicts on our list are the plasma wars, and that indicates the emergence of the fatally races, the ones that
Hmm.
are basically carrying that reversed factor within their plasma internal template. And these races came directly into the external time matrices, and they further invaded our universe and our cosmos through the reversed plasma weapons. So there starts kind of that war that is based on technology and experience. And, the more advanced you are, the further you can get. And I guess this is a dynamic that we are seeing in our world nowadays.
Hmm.
Um,
It's a taking metrics. It's like the win-lose battle to play with someone.
yes.
Is like that's when this really took traction and moved forward.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then we had like a direct consequence of that larger conflict, where the electric wars that ended the first seeding of the angelic human race on Earth 5 million years ago. So that was like a direct consequence of that event.
Hmm.
So again, it's like us above, so below. So like that dynamic also had to remanifest in our planetary life field.
Yep, as above, so below. Yep, we're just experiencing the things that are also like influenced, like pressure. Think of it like
Yes.
pressure scientifically. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is so great, Olivia. Let's keep going.
So let's
Yeah.
get to the last chapter, the
Yeah.
Chronicles of Earth, and that brings us to a question. Where is our mother Gaia? What happened to her? So I'm going to maybe first just explain a little bit like on the fall of Aramatena and why it fell. Um, because that's gonna give us like a further perspective on Gaia and then on Tara, because these are like the three main planetary dramas from like all sorts of dimensions that I would like us to speak about. So maybe I'm just going to
Hmm.
read that first and kind of elaborate on that.
Okay.
Structural distortions in the manifestation templates of Aramatena began along with progressive degeneration of the draconian reptilian, Dimension 10, and Anu, the 11 races, motivated by the Black Legion that intended to disconnect Antalya, which is the name for our time matrix, from its source 0 point. The quest for power and domination led to the destruction of Stargate 12 on planet Aramatena, located in the star system of Lyra, which served as a passageway into and out of this time matrix. So that means that these races, like I've been always questioning, like why did they fall, the draconians and the reptilians and the Anu, like
Hmm.
why did they suddenly start to have their template degenerated? And that's a result of the influence of the black dragons that started to infiltrate them in order to actually reach their final objective, which was destruction of Aramatena. So that's like one of the reasons behind the fall of Aramatena, that interference from other race lines. And obviously, as a key Stargate 12 of this universe, Aramatena has always been a target since it holds the keys to ascension. And right now, in a way, our planet Earth that has the Nomi seed, which holds like the eternal essence of Earth, it's like we
The
hold
Nomi
that
seed. Yeah.
inheritance of
Hmm.
Athena. We are also serving now as like that transplanial ascension station.
Hmm. Transplanial ascension station. Wow, that's an amazing sentence. Yes.
That basically
Yeah.
means, what I mean by transplanial is that when in the beginning of the presentation we were talking about these different versions of Earth, like Urea Earth, Ara Earth, deity Earth, etc., etc. It's
Hmm.
like transplanial means that Earth has like a passage to all of them.
Yeah. Earth is like Grand Central Station for
Yes, it's
interact. Yes.
alchemizing all of its aspects, and in a way, we are doing the
Hmm.
same. I mean, we are integrating our fallen aspects, like, bringing them bioregenesis and working it out so that we can also heal our templates. So we are like multidimensional healers at the moment.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I love that the word angel actually means a multidimensional being too, because we are angels. Like we're often taught in our thinking and our cultures that angels are something like, oh, they visit you, you have a guardian angel, you have a dark angel, whatever, like the angels on your shoulder. But it's like, no, you are the angel as a human being. You are exactly what you expected to be here. And you're the boots on the ground. We're in density one, but we're connected to our soul families of guardians the whole time. So, but it's actually us, like we're the earthly representatives of, if we choose to be a guardian, you know?
Exactly. And I think
Yeah.
this is very beautiful. So Aramatena fell, and that's where we get to the point where we have the two twins, Maya and Gaia. Gaia was in the particle galaxy, Maya was in the antiparticle galaxy. And something very interesting is that there's been basically like this process when these two planets were like blended together, like their cores were connected to each other. And that is called the dance of two mothers. So, in a way, we don't just have Mother Gaia, but we also have Mother Maya.
Mm.
We are embraced by these two divine essences that are meant to bring us back home. So, the seeding of the angelic human race on Gaia took place through the call of the deity, which is the direct incarnation of the souls from internal creation. Some of them refer to as the Fem races.
The
Um,
Fims, yeah, Fim is fallen. Like if it ends in IM, like Elohim or Seraphim.
um,
Yeah.
Not really. I'm actually referring to the Fem lineage. So it's like, the races that have this special codes in their
Oh, that's a whole
internal
lineage.
plasma body.
Okay. Oh, really? So Orifim, for example.
Orafim can be like a type of them, yes.
Okay.
But I
Because I
do
know that's
believe
what
in
I
the
am.
other
Actually,
Fims.
my last
Mhm.
name is Orr, like Orifim, like kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that
I'm
makes
interrupting
perfect
again.
sense.
Keep going
Okay.
with your flow,
So
Olivia.
they were holding the access to the full spectrum of their plasma templates, the elemental templates, which is the K+8 factor. And that enabled the reawakening of the internal plasma template potential. And basically, as I said, the core of Maya and Gaia was connected. And
Hmm.
that was allowing these two planets to restore the blueprint of Aramatena that was lost, and for also like accelerated evolution on Gaia and Maya. And that's where we have these main race lines that indeed were referred to as the Oraphims. We've got this K+8 deity initiates that, kind of like provided that full spectrum of the plasma currents. And then we
Hmm.
have the blue and the white Oraphims that were basically keepers of that core white-blue shield, which is like the air and water element of the plasma template. And then we have the green and violet Oraphims, which are the keepers of the green-violet shield, so that means earth and fire. While this K+8 deity initiates, they were holding the ether element and like the entire essence of that elemental shield that was meant to like connect us with the deity earth of internal creation, and through that we would have like an accelerated bioregenesis process throughout which Gaia and Maya would soon become Aramatena once again. So the problems started to arise in the system of Gaia and actually only in Gaia because Maya was kind of like more out of the picture and Gaia was more affected because of the dramas that were happening on in the Orion galaxy. So I'm just gonna read that excerpt so that we can also see how this split
Yeah,
progressed, because this graph is
yeah.
kind of showing us how first we had Aramatena, then it split into Gaia and Maya. Then Gaia's core just split into half, and that's how we got Tara and Hara. And then we have the fall of Tara into Earth and the other aspects in the solar system.
Hmm. I think it's important to like offer a reminder too. This is internal creation physics mechanics. It's not like a thing that was made. This is like the fatally, like that is a line that like, body snatches people. And
Yes,
then so it's internal creation physics. It's not external. It's not like a gun that you shoot at something for this technology.
yes, precisely. So that is like that is very complex actually. I'm trying to
Yeah,
explain it as
yeah, it
easy
is.
as possible,
It's
but
even hard to fathom or imagine. Yeah.
yes. So the fall of Gaia began with the transmissions of the reversed violet and green plasmas that were coming through the templates of the afflicted violet and green aura film. These transmissions significantly reversed and destabilized the planetary grids and allowed for direct attack by the Black Legion, that began using their deadly plasma laser weapon technology, rapidly wiping out the K+8 as well as the green and violet Orafim races. Half of Gaia's core was dragged into a black hole system, along with the part of the morphogenetic field that contained all the blueprints of the Gaian souls. The other half of
Hmm.
the planetary core was put into a buffer zone and was later downstepped to become Tara in Dimension 5 of external creation. And
Hmm.
something interesting to show here is that we can see like almost like the faces, the human faces here, or we have that famous hand in the desert and nobody knows where it's coming from. And I imagine that if the
Do you know where that
archaeologists,
is?
I think in Chile,
Oh, really? In
somewhere
South
in South
America.
America, but I'm pretty sure it's Chile.
Okay. I've
And
never seen that before.
yeah, and the thing is that I do sense that if they were to like dig that out, like dig further, they would probably find the entire body.
Who knows? Wow, that's cool. How long has it been
Or
there? Do
look
you
at
know?
this one. This becomes even more interesting, but we
Oh,
also have
right, the
animals.
elephant with the houses on top. Yeah.
Yes. Or the gorilla, and I suppose this one is like a turtle.
Yeah, it's a Honu. Wow.
So the thing is
Do you
that
know where those all are? Like as real places that someone can look up?
unfortunately not. At least I don't keep
Okay.
the memory anymore, but I think it would be
Okay.
interesting to find out.
Yeah.
You see, the thing is that these are like all the giants of Gaia that when they exploded, the thing is that something that the plasma laser weapons do is that they literally turned these living beings into stone.
Yeah,
So
it's like
have been,
petrification instantly.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, you could have been like a
Yeah.
giant of Gaia and you were just turned into stone and your consciousness is like frozen, it's stuck in time. And
Mm-hmm.
part of the integration that I was doing with my students is actually like going back and like picking up these missing aspects of
Oh,
consciousness, both from
wow.
Gaia
That's
and
the work you do
Maya.
with people. Oh, yeah. Is to
Yes,
go. It's almost like being buried in a casket and being embalmed rather than cremated or buried in the earth. When your physical body dies, it phase locks you. Like
it
we've all been
does.
phase locked in this, like, it's frozen light in density one that we're made out of, you know?
Yes. And
So,
like lately there's been like this series of like, these volcano eruptions as like in Kamchatka, like on the
hmm.
east of Russia. And like first we had the earthquakes, then the volcano explosions, and like something that happened to like a close person of mine is that he basically like kind of like had these heat waves going through his body a lot, like out of nowhere. And when I tuned in with it, it's actually like as if he had a part of himself stuck inside of that volcano that was erupting.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like we are scattered all over and we need
We're
to
so
find
scattered.
these missing parts of ourselves.
Yep. Yep. You know what? Also, too, like I have like as I lived in Hawaii for most of my adult life and on the Big Island to witness, to be close to molten rock in a
Mhm.
volcano, it's a very transcendent experience. And every time that I've seen it, which I think I've seen liquid rock coming out of the earth, like I don't know, maybe like 12 times or something like that. But every time that I do that, I have an experience the next week or several days of like inner transformation because I just witnessed what is the blood, the lava in Anuhazi, lava, which means love, is also the circulatory system of the planet, but it's liquid rock. So if you get a chance to witness this, it's truly transformative, but also it's dangerous to be around, you know. But yeah. Anyway,
But at the
I
same time, it awakens your
mm,
elementals within. So it all
yep,
serves the purpose, especially if you have that chance to experience that, like
yep.
literally just looking at it happening in front of your eyes.
And just appreciating like and accepting the experience, like, wow, this is what the earth is made out of. Like there's literally a molten core underneath the crust of what we think of as solid ground that is constantly moving, like the same way that we think of like our circulatory system in our body is constantly moving,
Yes.
and that's what makes us have the experience of being alive. It's a
So
miracle. Like
it
literally we're
is.
miracles, you know.
Okay, so talking about more explosions, let's see what
Yes,
happens
yes.
on Tara.
Yeah.
So we are like moving on from density 3 to density 2. And that's
Hmm.
where we have Tara, which is basically the one that carries the encryption of Gaia's core that did not suffer the fall. And
Hmm.
then we have Hara, which is like the antiparticle of Tara. And this one was very quickly infiltrated due to the Wysadek Borgia invasion and was dragged into the black hole system. And these days we know it among different channelings as Tiamat. And this is
Hmm.
something very beautiful that I would like to present to you here because on Tara we had a certain structure that um, are referred to as the temples of Pallaidia, and they've
Hmm.
been later like downstepped to our planet Earth as well. And these are basically temples that are made of trees. So you have kind of like this crown of the earth, and then you have
Hmm.
the roots that are going all the way
It's
down to
like
the bottom
in
of the
like
core.
Home Tree and Avatar too, is like
Yes,
kind of a yeah,
precisely. Mhm.
yeah.
And that looks very, very profound. And these temples were connected to like different types of crystal grids, and in a way, they were providing that free energy to the planet.
Yeah, they're just offering that energy. Yeah.
Yes. And initially, it's like Tara and Hara, they were intended to like, retrieve that primordial blueprint of Gaia and Aramatena. But the
Hmm.
thing is that there's been a lot of like deception happening when it comes to the distortion in the sacred teachings
Hmm.
of different priesthoods that were kind of like, um, you know, um, connecting to the knowledge of the trees that are almost like the sacred keepers of wisdom.
Hmm.
And they knew how to take care of the planet. The trees were teaching them all of that. And the thing
Hmm.
is that when these crystal temples started to be abused, when the universal crystal laws started to be breached, that's when basically it reached that point where the core of Tara exploded because these temples were basically transmitting way too many energies into the core. Because if we look at it this way, then like the current was working in this direction, that the planetary core of Tara that was connected to its source point in the beginning was bringing these energies through the roots upwards, but they just changed that current and they were just pumping
Yeah,
from.
just reverse it, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that led to the explosion of Tara 550 million years ago.
And it blew up
And
the whole freaking planet in the time. That's
yes,
crazy to think about. Is like we're on Earth, which is in density 1, that like that's what the fall of Eden is too. Like in the
yes,
Bible. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So in a way, it is describing, the fall of humanity. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where we have the concept of the lost souls of Alania, the ones that suffered fragmentation of their soul matrices as a result of that explosion. Because in a
Mm-hmm.
way, Tara is representing the soul of planet Earth, while Gaia is the oversoul. So it's kind of like as if it's a massive soul fragmentation, like a set of
Yeah.
soul shards that happened to our planet Earth, and that's why we had to start over
Mm-hmm.
in another density.
Yep. And multidimensional realignment. That's the Christos realignment mission.
Precisely. And
Yeah.
then it was upgraded even further to the eternal Crystal River host that we are
Mm-hmm.
at the moment. Um, so I guess like something that I just wanted to share at the end in order to kind of like, make it a little bit more optimistic is that at the moment we are experiencing the reawakening of all these aspects of Earth that suffered
Mm,
fragmentation. All of them are
mm,
being alchemized into one. And this is a part of that multidimensional realignment process of our Aurora Earth so that it could become its primordial blueprint of Arion.
mm-hmm. And that's happening uniquely, like no matter whatever the belief pattern, the paradigm for any human being on Earth right now, the opportunity is available to them. However it manifests, but it's manifesting uniquely for everyone. So
Exactly.
cool. It's so cool. Yeah.
So I suppose that's all that I wanted to share. In case anyone would be further interested in my work, you can find my YouTube channel, Olivia Ezayana, under the same name. And here
Mm-hmm.
is also a link to my website. I've got like quite a lot of workshops that I'm selling, like if anyone is interested like in the self-healing and this type of stuff. And I'm also holding individual healing sessions during which I'm not doing any kind of energy work on anyone. I'm simply like holding the space for you to become your own healer and maybe get a different perspective on the things you may not have been aware of before.
Mm, so beautiful. Wow. I love your pitch. You really have that dialed in because that's exactly what you do. You're inviting someone, if they're open to it, to a space where they can remember who they are better.
Well, that's the goal. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really the goal. So, the biggest joy for me is like, after seeing someone after a while, they have like a lot of more that awareness, that perception, and like at some point I'm just getting like into that space where I just allow someone to lead through the session, or I'm just asking them questions and they are like, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, oh, I know. And, it's not, it's like they don't need me anymore. I'm more like just giving them that
Yeah.
space throughout, which maybe they don't know the answer for something just yet because they didn't ask the right question. So I think this is also something that we need to learn these days, all of us, like the
Mhm.
art of asking the right questions.
The art of asking the right questions. Yes. Yes. I guess my only follow-up is that I recently made a song about the questions for discernment. I just made them rhyme basically, but really that is the greatest gift we can give to anyone is to invite you to a space that you think for yourself. And you have every single person has all of the answers within them if they know how to do whatever you think of as like divine vertical connection and all of this like detailed knowledge about hundreds of billions of years ago. It only matters to be productive to remember that and to forgive that basically. So yeah, this has
Totally.
been, you know what, Olivia, I feel like we're coming to a completion point right now, and I just
I think so,
really,
but
really appreciate you. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing what you have in your template with us. And yeah, we like jumped super deep there, but I hope this was functionally productive for anyone that is
I do
listening.
believe
And
it was, and I suppose maybe we can do something like this again in the future and, just see what comes out of it, right?
yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, because I really didn't know. We had a little brief contact call before we started, but it's really just about discovering the knowledge that each of us hold and just sharing it without apology, because I do believe it's important. It really is important. And yeah, yeah. Anyway, I guess, do you feel complete? Like, how do you feel right now?
I do, yes. I
Okay,
would say
cool.
I'm extremely overloaded after like transmitting this knowledge, but in a good way. So
Yeah. Maybe it's nap time soon. Who knows?
it should be yes.
Definitely got to go get some food to eat or something. Cause yeah, I feel all charged up. So thank you so much. You're just so wonderful. And I think I'll just close this out right now. And
Go ahead.
yeah, we'll take it from there. Aloha, as we say in Hawaii.
Bye bye.
Bye.